G'day guys, this is Rick from Tips and Ratings. Just thought we'd have a quick look at some jockey ratings for the metropolitan areas heading into the carnival. Obviously, it's important that we are on the right jockeys and that the right and wrong jockeys obviously have a fair representation within our markets and rated prices of I guess A, their overall ability, and B, their current form. So what I've got here, what you're looking at is basically just a graph, obviously, with all of the metropolitan jockeys who have had over 300 rides in the last 300 or more rides over the course of the last 12 months. What we're looking at here is two measurements. The blue one is the last 30 days, and the green one is the last 365, so the last year. Now, it might be a little bit difficult to see all of those, so I'll just change the amount of rides to 350 just to make it a bit bigger. And that should make it a bit bigger for you there. So we'll just start, and I've also got here lengths. So basically, this is how many lengths, better or worse, their current rating is for the last 30 days versus their last year. So we'll take a look at Bowman, and he's basically bang on what he always does. His historical rating is 98.34, and his rating over the last 30 days is 98.27. So, you know, for us, he sort of tops the chart, very consistent. Rarely does he make any mistakes, and he's obviously done quite well. The next one's McDonald, and his annual figure or historical figure, we'll refer to it, is 98.24, and as you can see, his recent is 100.94. So this guy over the last 30 days has just been in super form, and he's riding around one length better than his historical figure would suggest. So really coming good heading into the carnival. Same can be said for Blake Shin. His historical figure is, we'll call it 98, and over the last 3 days he's up over 100. So the last 30 days. So any time on our jockey or trainer figures, you know, when we're dealing with you know, a sample size is big, if a jockey or trainer can be up over 100 for Metropolitan, it's absolutely flying. So Shin's going really well. Collett is about 97.5 historical, and obviously he's the first one we'll see here where his recent form, his blue line, is inferior to his historical figure. So he's a jockey that isn't riding too well at the moment compared to what we know he can. Tommy Berry, his historical figure is about 96.5. It was a lot higher, obviously. He's been through a lot personally, and he's starting to come back into some good form. He's up to 98.18, so he's half a length above what we know he can do. Craig Williams, he's pretty solid, Craig, around 96. He's sort of a bit like Bowman. Not as good as Bowman, but you know, he's pretty consistent, Craig Williams, and he's generally always around the mark. So he's around a quarter of a length currently above his historical figure. We've got Britton Avdulla, and historically he's a 96.2, and the last 30 days we've got him at 96.28. So you know, he's riding consistently to what we know he can do. We've got Oliver, he's a 95.82 historically, and he's up around 97.5. So he's riding around half a length better than historically what he has over the last year. We've got McAvoy, who's a 95.77, and he's currently down around a quarter of a length over the last month on what we know he can do. Clipperton's a good up-and-comer. I've watched his rating grow, and he's a 95.5, and you know, he's up around 97 at the moment. So he's riding half a length above his historical figure, and I think he'll continue to improve that into the high 90s. Willie Pike over in Perth, he rides to 94.4 historically, and he's up around 96.5, so he's just over half a length up on what he generally does. Dwayne Dunn is around a 93.27 generally, and he's around 98, so he's going really, really well. Dunn, he's had to deal with a few suspensions, but he's at 1.5 lengths above his historical figure, so certainly he looks to be in really good form. Brad Parnham is another one. Got him pegged around 91.8, he's 92.2, so there's sort of not much in it with him. Tim Bell, he's at around the 90, and he's currently at 86.6, so he's sort of not gone too well the last 30 days. Chris Parnham, same, he's around the length down, he's gone from the 90 to an 87. Jimmy Byrne has had a pretty good month. He's rode 4 winners, and his last 2 rides were narrow losses, which helps his confidence. So, we build confidence into the figures, and he's at around a 90, call it, generally, and he's up at 95. So he's around 1.7 lengths above his historical figure, and O'Donnell is 89.5 generally, and he's up over 91. So he's over half a length up on generally what he does. So we can play around with these figures sort of any way we want. We can remove the 30 and insert 60, and obviously puts it in there. As you can see, it changes it up a bit. Not a great deal, but just sort of enough. And what we can also do is we can say, how can we do that? Make that 250 and see what happens. And obviously there you get a lot of other jockeys sort of come into the picture, and this gets a bit longer, so we end up going down. We've got Nolan, Lucy Warwick, Michael Walker, he's up a length. As a part, he's up a length. Terrence up 1.4 lengths. And Jimmy Byrne 1.7, Michael Kale up 1.2. So there's a lot of jockeys there that have been in form over the last 60 days or so. So there's a lot of different ways you can look at it, and what we can also do is, pretty sure, put the margin there. And then what we want to look at here is who are the runners or the jockeys that are dropping off, and who aren't going above their annual figure. And that's the one there. So if we sort of have a look at our city jockeys now that probably aren't in great form, well, Bowman, that's he's going as good as ever, I'd say. So I'd ignore that. Collett is down half a length. Clark's down half a length. Warren Costin, well, she's just doing what she does. So she rides quite well. So I'd ignore that. McAvoy's down a little bit. Jim Cassidy's down on historically what he's been able to do. We've got a couple of apprentices here, Regan Bayliss and Patrick Maloney, so probably just getting into the better time of the year. It's harder for them to get the better rides in town. Harry Coffey's another one. Lucy Warwick's another one. Glenn Boss is a little bit down, but not too far. Turner's down. Carr's down. Yeah, Kathy O'Hara's down, Tim Bell's down, and that sort of concludes the jockeys that aren't going too well there. So that's a look at our ratings there, and 3 points basically equals a length on our scale There's not a lot between the good jockeys. They you know, as you can see, if we just put back the 365 days and take out that one, that's basically the leaderboard on a raw figure of how they sort of rate. You know, there's different circumstances where different things need to be taken into account, but generally speaking, you know, that's a pretty good way to sort of have a look at them. And as you can see, just going down without any filters, just if you've had 300 rides in the last year, it's basically where they sit. So dominated by Sydney, who seem to have all the real talent up there, which is no surprise. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so basically 8 of the top 9. You know, they just go really well. And but as I said, there's not a lot sort of between them. So you know, you've got 98 for Bowman and say 96 for Oliver. So you know, it's less than a length between them. But they tend to generally always sort of get back to this historical 365-day figure. But as we sort of went over before, by inserting the 30-day figure, it obviously gives you a bit more insight into how the jockeys are going compared to what they normally do. So, look, I hope that made sense. And if you've got any questions, feel free to send us an email or just leave a response here, or send a reply in Twitter. If you want me to look at any other certain jockeys, you know, it's easy to do. We can, for example, just want to filter into Bowman and put in 30, 60, 90, 180, and 365. So obviously you can see starting from the year 98.34, 98.97, 98.85, and so on. And you just sort of do it any way we like that, and it drill in on all the jockeys or all the trainers, and even exercises like this with horses. So if you've got any requests or anything like that, want to know about a horse or a trainer or a jockey, feel free to shoot us an email, and we will do our best to have a look at it for you. So thanks for listening. I hope it wasn't too confusing, and yeah, feel free to know that if you've got any questions. Thank you.